Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Katie. This is KBKC Yoga. And for today's practice, we're going to be doing somewhere in between a yin yoga and a restorative yoga practice for emotional overwhelm. So for today's practice, you'll want to grab a big pillow, a nice soft pillow from your bed, maybe a couple, maybe a really soft bolster, a blanket or so, and we're just going to work on bringing the nervous system down out of whatever stress you're going through. Maybe it's a hormonal, emotional overwhelm, maybe it's circumstantial to your life, but just bringing the body back into a space where it feels a little bit more safe and grounded, and we can do this in a pretty quick and effective way. So get cozy, jump into comfortable clothes for this practice today, and just be on any comfortable surface. Even your bed would be a great place to be. And we'll go ahead and start our practice in a nice big child's pose. So for your child's pose today, if you're on a hard surface, find some padding for the knees. Take the knees pretty wide, bringing the big toes together. And we're just going to bring that pillow or set of pillows just right in front, tuck it in between the thighs, and then walk yourself forward, lowering your belly and your head onto the pillow. Just closing down the eyes. You can let your head come to one side. And I'll let you know when we've been in this pose for a few minutes so you can switch the stretch and position of the neck. Just allow the eyes to close and get really heavy in the body and start to become really present with the sensation of the breath. Feeling the breath in the obvious areas, the ribs, the throat, maybe the belly. Then you can start to shift your awareness to the not so obvious areas, the sides or the backs of the ribs. Maybe you can feel the breath expanding the low back. With every breath, every exhale, I want you to imagine yourself relaxing, just layer by layer, as if you were going down a staircase, letting go of whatever's weighing heavy on your mind. Just let yourself sink into the pillow, breath by breath, sink into this comforting shape. Try to let go of all external distractions and just really bring your focus internally to this experience that you're having within the body. And if your head ended up to one direction, now's a good time to gently lift the head and turn your head to the opposite side. Notice if you're resisting the floor in any way, if you're pushing through the shins, just relax all those tiny little muscles, even the muscles around the forehead. the mouth, and the shoulders. Taking just about 5 more deep breaths here. Take one last breath whenever you're ready. And then with your exhale, just slowly and carefully peel yourself up off the belly. Going to hands and knees and then lifting the hips. You can slide that pillow forward or out of the way and just bring the knees underneath the hips. Let's take a second to sway out through the hips, a little side to side. And then maybe if it feels good, some slow cats and cows, stretching the belly. And then stretching the back by rounding the spine. Cat-cow is a great way to come back into the body. So often what happens when we can become overwhelmed is we become disassociated with the body itself. So if you can imagine moving one vertebrae at a time, you can come back into that mind-body connection and feel that in your body right now, you're safe and that everything's all right. And from your tabletop, you'll spin your pillow sideways. And then you're going to walk your hands forward out in front of the pillow and lower your hips down. Come into a little supported sphinx. So you can just kind of tuck the pillow in to the rib cage there. And maybe your elbows come on top of the pillow. Maybe they go out in front. Let's pick up the feet and lengthen one leg back and then take it to the corner of the mat or just wider than the hips. And then the other side. Good, and then just pausing here, let yourself just kind of sink into the support of the pillow, the support of the arm bone from shoulder to elbow, and then you can just relax through the head. The head can stay really neutral, or if it feels good, you could tuck your chin to your chest, letting the head drop down. Notice if you're squeezing through the pelvic floor, the glutes, just relax there. Opening through the front of the hip. If you've got some extra props at your disposal, maybe some blocks nearby, you could bring one on its highest height setting or stack a couple to support the forehead. All just options. But if there's a block handy and available to you, this is a great way to signal the body that it's okay to release that stress. You can think about how our natural tendency when we are stressed or overwhelmed is to drop our head forward into our hands or to lay our head perhaps on our steering wheel or on a desk. We're mimicking that same physiological response here by letting the head rest on a prop if you have one. You can even let the head just rest in your hands by sort of lifting your hands up and holding your own head. We'll have more opportunity to do this. So if you'd like to just stay neutral in the neck and keep the head lifted but easy, that's great. We'll stay here for another 10 or so breaths. Take your last breath here when you're ready. And then we're going to slowly start to lift our head up, removing any props you might have under the head. And then you're just going to push yourself up enough to slide that pillow out and come all the way onto the belly, bringing the hands to stack, elbows wide, just creating a little pillow with your own hands for the forehead. Take a second here to wiggle the hips a little. If the low back is cranky, to pick up the feet and windshield wiper the feet a little side to side. And then we'll set the feet back down. You'll bring your arms to a cactus shape and turn your head to the left. And then we'll slide the left knee up the floor until the thigh is perpendicular to the body and the knee is in line with the hip. Now from here, you can play around with the angle of knee to ankle. 90 degrees feels okay. That's a good place to be. And if there's any tenderness in that ankle bone, or you're not really feeling much stretch or sensation through the left inner thigh, but you want to, you could slide your pillow down and take it underneath that knee, just for a little bit more lift in the hips. And so relaxing your hips down, taking a few deep breaths like this. It's like you're a little bug splattered on a windshield. Imagine gravity, well, it is. Gravity holding you in place here. In stillness, the mind is apt to wander. And if you came to the mat today overwhelmed, it's likely that you won't be able to switch out of that too easily. So just every time you notice your mind going back to stressful thoughts or feelings, just shepherd the awareness back to the body and to the breath. Let's take just a few more breaths here on the belly in this little dead bug shape. And then let's keep the left leg as it is. You're going to lift up your head. Reach your left fingertips straight forward, so up and over the head, and then slide the right arm underneath to the left, and you're just going to roll onto your back, coming into a big reclining twist. Now, if the pillow was already there under the leg, that's pretty helpful and supportive. If you want to pull it down and under, you can. Just roll yourself onto your back and keep working your shoulders underneath you until the backs of the shoulders are squared to the floor and your gaze is to the ceiling. You could cactus the arms. You could take them out into a T shape if you have room. It might feel nice to turn your head to that left side. focusing on the sensation of the exhale, especially in this twist. Imagine wringing all of that stress and worry out of the body like you were wringing out a wet towel. Let's take just a couple more breaths here in this twist on the back. As you're ready, you're going to lead with the left arm up and over. And then just push into the left hand. Take your left leg straight back to come back onto the belly. And then just come back to that neutral position where the elbows are wide and the hands are stacked to make a pillow for the forehead. Wiggle out through the hips. Take a moment of stillness about halfway through, a little over halfway through our practice, and just notice any change in how you feel from beginning of the practice to now. Maybe a cleansing breath if that sounds good. Big deep inhale. You'll open your arms back up to that cactus shape and then turn your head this time to the right. Good. Slide your right knee up along the floor until the knee is just alongside the hip. Good. And then from there, if you'd like that padding underneath that right knee, that right shin, you could bring your pillow there. Just a little support for a deeper stretch in the inner thigh for that right hip. And then just get really heavy once you've found a place that you're comfortable staying in. Imagine yourself covered by a weighted blanket. If you have a weighted blanket, even better. We'll take just a few more breaths here. Really letting the belly press into the floor on the inhales, feeling that relaxation of the tissues around the spine on the exhale breath. Good, and then lift your head back up and extend the right arm straight forward from the shoulder so that you can sneak your left arm underneath and then roll yourself onto your back, unwinding into this twist. It might take a little maneuvering until you get your shoulder blades underneath you, the right knee across the body to the left. Maybe the gaze drops to the right if it feels good. That right leg could still be supported by the pillow. Maybe that left hand is an added weight on the outer edge of that thigh. Taking just a few more really intentional inhales and exhales in this twisting posture. Last breath here when you're ready. And then on the exhale, we're gonna roll to the back instead of the belly. So you can just plant that right foot and then unwind the left hip out from under you by planting the left foot. Coming into constructive rest, just rocking your hips a little side to side with the feet flat to the mat. And then maybe take your feet a little wider than your hips, let your knees fall together. If you'd like some extra support, you can slide that pillow underneath your hips or in between the space, between the backs of the thighs and the feet. And so the hands rest on the belly, and we'll just take a few moments here to rest. Feel the support of the floor, or your bed, or the earth if you're practicing outside today. Rising up to meet you, to hold you at the back of your head, the back of your shoulders, your hips, at your feet. Know that whatever is troubling you is impermanent. Whatever overwhelm you're feeling will pass. Give yourself permission to feel whatever you're feeling, physically, mentally, or emotionally in this moment. Knowing that this moment always shifts, always changes, but brighter days are always ahead. If you're comfortable here and you have time today, I'll invite you to end your practice here in this version of Shavasana. Just take a little extra time to ground yourself in the body. Give yourself space. If you liked this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up and to subscribe to my channel so that I can continue making content and sharing content that helps us in times of need. Have a beautiful rest of your day, and let me know in the comments down below if this was helpful. I will see you again very soon. Shanti, 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 peace, peace, peace.